Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily, where we post daily Las Vegas Raiders content. If that is something you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for daily Raiders content. Let's try and hit 100 likes on today's video, but most importantly, go ahead, drop some comments down below on your thoughts. I want to talk about some things that I think people don't really realize, like in the NFL, just the NFL media, NFL fans, or what have you, about the Las Vegas Raiders. So looking at the Raiders from last season, they obviously made a ton of improvements. Whether it was defensively, offensively with Davante Adams, defensively with Chandler Jones, I like the direction that they're going in. Now, obviously, if you want to nitpick them, there are some concerns. The offensive line, last season, the defense wasn't too great outside of Max Crosby at, generating pressure consistently necessarily. The linebackers, some of the players in the secondary, they were kind of getting, not torn apart, but they were definitely getting targeted on defense, specifically in the passing game. If we look at last year statistics, somehow their offense was only ranked 21 and their defense was only ranked 27th. So both of those stats are terrible. And coming from a playoff team, they're kind of eye-popping to me. So I want to dive into a little bit more about some of their bigger issues, their bigger weaknesses from last year, and how they were able to find those weaknesses and improve them. And we'll start it off with the running game because offensively speaking, rush yards, they ranked 28th in the league. 28th in the league. Well, Josh Jacobs last season, I don't think with the offensive line, the offensive line was that bad. I really think people don't understand how bad that offensive line was for the Raiders. It was that bad at certain points of time. Some days, some games, there just was nothing there. It was almost like Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears, you got 5 seconds sometimes. If it's a pass, sometimes you got 5 seconds, and that's it. Now, Josh Jacobs, you just went out, you got Zamir White. I think he is going to, honestly, Zamir White, he's out of Georgia. He's former 5-star. He's had some injuries. He's definitely has his fair share of injuries, but I would say you're probably going to see a decent amount of him this season. He's not even, I don't even know if he would necessarily be running back number 2 right now, but at the same time, we saw, I don't think a single Raider player who was eligible for a 5th-year option got picked up. I actually don't think there was a single guy. So, I like the hopeful attitude of a lot of people thinking Josh Jacobs will be returning as a Raider next season because, honestly, in my head, I would love for Josh Jacobs to be back on the Raiders next year. Will it happen? Honestly, I highly, highly doubt it. I just highly doubt it. It's a very hard, even if he has a really good season, well, then he's going to want more money. Even if he has a really bad season, it's going to be more of an incentive for this new management to be like, yeah, we're all set. So either way, it's kind of like it's just kind of tough. So what I want Josh Jacobs to do behind this new and improved offensive line, which we'll talk about here in just a second, is I want him to just do Josh Jacobs things. And then you'll have Zamir White, you'll have Zeus in there just kind of being a complimentary back because he can really play. He went to Georgia. Those SEC boys got something in them. But I would say at some point in the season, you're probably going to see him start to eat into Josh Jacobs snaps. But they still have Josh Jacobs. All right, I want to nail that home because, yeah, maybe the future of Josh Jacobs isn't looking great, but I guarantee you with the new and improved offensive line, the new head coach, the new coaching staff in general, I have a hard time imagining the Raiders going to be all the way at number 28 in rushing yards. Number 2 is just passing touchdowns. In general, the passing touchdowns were middle of the pack, but when you look at the red zone offense for the Raiders last season was god-awful. I mean, it was just statistically just god-awful. And you can throw in a bunch of different things. I mean, last year for the start of the Raiders season in general was just chaos, bro. You had the whole coaching thing. It was not the start the Raiders fans ideally wanted to come out with. So the fact that they were able to focus in, start playing some good-ass football, win your last 4 games of the season, make the playoffs, almost take down the Bengals in the playoff game, I think that's really impressive. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of forgot about just how crazy the Raiders season started. You got the whole thing with Henry. You got the whole thing with Gruden. There was a lot of just random bullshit going on in Las Vegas. They cleaned that up. They cleared that up. Interim head coach did a phenomenal job, and they made the playoffs. So passing touchdowns, middle of the pack, I'm not too worried because you have a lot of new additions. Specifically, the red zone touchdowns were a huge issue. Well, like I said, improved offensive line. Now you have Zamir White, so there's another threat. But obviously, the addition of Davante Adams, I think, is going to pretty much solve any and all red zone efficiency issues. Because if Davante Adams isn't getting double teamed down in the red zone, most of the time, if Davante has a smidgen of a gap, he's gonna take advantage. He's gonna score a touchdown. I mean, you theoretically you could. I know he's not like a big ass body like maybe DK, but most of the time, if Davante Adams is open, pretty much all the time, if Davante Adams is open and there's only one body on him, and you throw him the ball, he's gonna find a way to catch that football. He's gonna find a way. Even just leading up the field, Davante's gonna be getting double teamed all the damn time. Well, the issue is if you're going to double team Davante, it leaves less secondary, it leaves less options, less ideal options for the other Raiders threats. And that's when we look at Darren Waller, who is healthy and ready to go, and he gets double teamed a lot. So you definitely can't double team Davante Adams and Darren Waller, because if you do, you're not going to have much left. You got Hunter Renfrow there in the slot, who is Mr. Consistent. He had over 100 receptions last season. He loves to move. He loves being agile. He loves being physical. He loves getting those yards after catch. Like, he does it all. Hunter does it all. So these opposing defensive secondaries are going to have to factor these things in. And then when you just add on to the fact, you still got to worry about Jacobs, still got to worry about White kind of being in there. You still have to worry about guys like Keelan Cole and Demarcus Robinson, depending on who gets that wide receiver spot. But both of those two cats are consistent as well. We know Derek Carr likes to throw the ball. We know Josh McDaniels likes to throw the ball short, get those 5-yard gains, get some yards after catch. But we also know Derek Carr loves that. He builds that chemistry with his receivers so well, and it really transfers into the games. Like, you can tell, he just has these connections with all of these wide receivers that opposing team secondaries, opposing teams fans, they're not going to be aware of Demarcus Robinson. They're not going to be aware of Keelan Cole. And even a guy like Foster Moreau, who I made my video on yesterday, he's had his fair share of drops. But at the end of the day, in a 2 tight end system with Josh McDaniels, you have to feel pretty confident, for the very least, about the Raiders' ability to be much, much, much better as far as red zone efficiency, scoring the touchdown. So we'll see what happens with that. The offensive line's going to be interesting as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they went out, they make a low-key move, maybe even a guy like Cameron Fleming, who plays backup right tackle. If Leatherwood isn't ready to go, if Parham's not going to be your right tackle, throw him in. He's a fringe starter. He's been a starter before. He's a solid guy. I've made a video on him. But I would anticipate if the Raiders aren't going to make any offensive line moves, that means they have some trust in the offense. So I think the offense is really going to just kind of shock a lot of people. I don't think people really realize, Davante's there, and so obviously they're going to be a little bit more exciting. They're going to be a little bit better. They're going to be a little bit more fun. But at the same time, you got a healthy Darren. I don't think most of the league is fully caught up on who Hunter Renfrow is, unless you're a big football guy. So I think they just have plenty of options. And like I said, Keelan Cole, Demarcus Robinson, if the Raiders stand pat at the wide receiver position, those are just more threats you're going to have to worry about. If the Raiders went out, they made a move. While you may not like these 4 players I'm about to name, they went out, they got a T.Y. Hilton. They went out, they got a Will Fuller, an Odell, a Julio Jones. It makes that offense, it makes that wide receiver core that scarier, that much more scary. So let me know what you guys think down below. I just don't think a lot of people realize this outside of the Raiders Nation. Hit the like button. Let's try and hit 100 likes on today's video, and I'll see you guys later.